Question number 5 falls under AP series, and this is summation. Summation basically means sum of n terms. That means if you want to find summation of r equals to 1 to n and you have some sort of an expression ur, it means r equals to 1 gives the first term, then we get the second term and the third term, and we go up to the nth term. Now, so this is summation or sum of n terms. So we can find the sum of n terms as Sn n by 2 twice a means u1 or first term, plus n minus 1 into common difference. Common difference is the same number by which the term is increasing. So the first one is summation, and it is r equals to 1 to n 7r minus 3. So we can write this as summation r equals to 1 to n 7r minus 3. So if we put r equals to 1, u1 turns out to be 7 1s are 7 minus 3, that is 4, plus the second term r equals to 2 turns out to be 7 2s are 14. 14 minus 3 is 11, and we don't need anything else. This is the logic by which it would keep progressing. So the first term is 4, a equals to 4, and the common difference by which the logic it is progressing, it is 11 minus 4, that is 7. So we can say the first term is 4 and the common difference is 7. So it is going to increase by 7. So the next term is going to be 11 plus 7, that is going to be 18. So we have to find sum of n terms because we don't know what value this is. This is n. So Sn is going to be n by 2 twice a is 4, plus n minus 1, common difference, that is 7. So we can simplify this. N by 2, 2 4s are 8, plus 7 n's are 7 minus 7. So this is going to be n by 2, 8 minus 7 is 1, so 7n plus 1. Next question is question number B. Question number B is hence or otherwise. We have r equals to 15 to 30 and the nth term is the same, 7r minus 3. So it is the same as question number 5a, but the only difference is r is not 1. So it means it is not the first n terms. It is starting from r equals to 15. That changes the thing a bit. That means the value of n would not be 30. If it is not starting from 1, we have to find the value of n, and this is the logic by which we find it. It is 30 minus 15 plus 1. The last value minus the first value plus 1. This is how you count natural numbers. Remember, for counting natural numbers, it is very obvious for us to think if something starts from 1, how many numbers are there from 1 to 10? There are 10 numbers. But it is not obvious to count if you want to know how many numbers are there from 50 to 200. It's not that obvious. So for that, you have to subtract from the last number the first number and increase by 1. So this is going to be 30 minus 15 is 15 plus 1, 16. So n equals to 16. But we also need to know what is the first term, because the first term is no longer 4. So let's find this out. So we can write it over here. R equals to 15. So 7 into 15. So 7 into 15. That is 105 minus 3. So this is going to be 102. So the first term is going to be 102 plus the second term is going to be r equals to 16. So that means 7 into 16 minus 3. That is 109. So this is going to be 109. It moves on and on. If you notice, the common difference is still the same. The common difference is still 7. So a equals to 102 and the common difference is 7. So we have to find sum of 16 terms because n equals to 60. N is not equals to 30 because it is not starting from 1. So we can write here. Let me write it over here. S16 equals to n by 2 twice a, which is 102, plus n minus 1, which would be 16 minus 1, 15, into common difference, that is 7. So we can write 16 by 2 is 8, 2 into 102 is 204, plus 15 into 7 is 7 5s are 35, 7 1s are 7, so 105. This turns out to be 8 into 309, which is 309 multiplied by 8. 2472. Now the next question, question number C. It is given that summation of r equals to 1 to n is equals to 1020. In this particular question, we can use the answer of 5a. So for the answer of 5a, we can write Sn equals to 1020. So in question number 5a, we found the expression Sn equals to n by 2, 7n plus 1. Remember, this is from question number 5a. So it's done over here. So n by 2, 7n plus 1. So this is equals to 1020. So let's solve this. This is going to be a quadratic equation. This would be n into 7n plus 1 equals to 2040 if you multiply with 2. So then we have 7n square plus n minus 2040 equals to 0. Now this might look, it is going to be very big because this is 7 and this is 2040, but usually it is pretty straightforward. So let's multiply this. 7 into 2040 is 14280. 14280 is actually pretty big a number. So I would suggest here the answer would be in integers, that's for sure, because we need an integer value for n because we need to count n. So n is always an integer value. So we can solve it using middle term break can be used, but I recommend here we can solve using the quadratic formula. So the quadratic formula is this one. If you have a quadratic equation like this, ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0, then the value of x can be directly found by the quadratic formula, which states that minus b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by twice a. So we are going to use this quadratic formula to do this sum. We can write therefore n equals to minus b. So the b is the coefficient of n over here, which is 1. So minus 1 plus minus root over b square, so that will be 1 square minus 4. A is 7 over here, so a, and c is minus 2040, so minus 2040 divided by twice a. A is 7. So this is going to be minus 1 plus minus root over. So this is going to be 1 minus minus is plus. This would be 1 plus 4 into 7 into 2040. So 4 into 7 into 2040. And this is 57121. So this is 57121 divided by 14. So it means square root of 57121, that is 239. It's a whole number, 239. So minus 1 plus minus 239 divided by 14. That means n equals to, n cannot be negative. So n cannot be minus 240 divided by 14, or n equals to 238. That means plus, if we take the plus value, 239 minus 1 is 238 divided by 14. So since this cannot be negative, so the value, we can just write down the value. So this is decimal, this is minus 17 point something, so this is minus 17 point something, 17.14, and the other one is 238 divided by 14, and this turns out to be 17. So this is 17. So n cannot be negative, n cannot be in decimal, so the answer of n would be n equals to 17. This question falls under differential calculus, and it is kinematics. An expression for displacement is given, and we have to find the values of t, the time when it passes through O. Remember, when it passes through O, it means displacement is equal to 0. So question number 6 would be, at s equals to 0, t cubed minus 7t squared plus 10t equals to 0. Now we have to factorize this cubic expression. So if we take t common, it would be t squared minus 7t plus 10 equals to 0. Now if we do middle term break here, it would be 5 2s are 10. So that is t squared minus 5t minus 2t plus 10 equals to 0. So if we take here t common, it would be t minus 5. If you take 2 common, it would be t minus 5 and it would be equals to 0. So that turns out to be t minus 5, t minus 2 equals to 0. Therefore, t equals to 0, t equals to 5 or t equals to 2. Now the answer has to be greater than 0. So the answer, when you restate the answer, it has to be t equals to 2 or t equals to 5. We don't have to give any unit over here because they said just the values of t. We don't have to write down the unit. Now question number B. Question number B said find the speed. Remember, velocity can be positive or negative. Speed can only be positive. Speed is the positive value of velocity. It does not have any direction. So we have to find the speed, but first we have to find the expression for velocity. So velocity is displacement by time. That means velocity is displacement ds by time dt. So that we have to differentiate this. So t cubed would be 3t squared minus 7t squared is 14t plus 10. So we have to find t at each time it passes through O. That means t equals to 2 and t equals to 5. So we have to write at t equals to 2, v equals to 3 2 square minus 14 into 2 plus 10, and that turns out to be 12. Let me use the calculator directly. So 4 3s are 12 minus 14 2s are 28 plus 10, that is minus 6. Then we have at t equals to 5, v equals to 3 5 squared minus 14 into 5 plus 10, and this is going to be 25 into 3 is 75 minus 14 into 5 and we have plus 10, and that turns out to be 15. So v would be equals to 15. So the answer would be speed. The first one is minus 6. So velocity is minus 6. Speed is 6 meter per second. And the second one is 15. So it would be 15 meter per second. Next question is question number C. The greatest speed. That means we have to take the positive value of the velocity. Either way, we have to work with velocity. So the greatest speed. Now you have to remember, for this particular question, we have to think about maxima, minima. That means in coordinate geometry, we have a picture and what the picture would look like. If you think about coordinate geometry for velocity, it's a parabola and the shape of the parabola is like that. It is more or less like a parabola. So what we have to do over here, but you might say, well, it is going to be a negative value, so why is it talking about greatest speed? Well, you have to understand we are going to do the sum in terms of velocity, but we have to write down the answer in terms of speed. So whenever they're talking about maxima or minima, they're going to talk about at the turning point the gradient is 0 in that particular concept. So let's do this. So let's do now, think in terms of gradient only. Don't think about what is dv by dt in kinematics. Think about this as coordinate geometry. So this is going to be the gradient of velocity is going to be dv by dt, which is going to be 3t squared. So it is going to be 6t minus 14t. This is going to be 14 plus 10. That is going to be 0. You write at the maxima, or that the greatest point, at the maxima or minima, or you can say at the turning point or at the stationary point. So dv by dt, or the gradient, is equals to 0. That means 6t minus 14 equals to 0. T equals to 14 by 6. That means 7 by 3. So t equals to 7 by 3. Now we have to find the value of v, because we have to find the value of speed. So at t equals to 7 by 3, so the velocity is going to be 3 into 7 by 3 squared minus 14 into 7 by 3 plus 10, and the value turns out to be, so this is going to be 49, 49, 9, this is 3, so this is going to be 49 by 3 minus, this is going to be 14 into 7 by 3, and then we're going to have plus 10. So this is going to be minus 19 by 3. So this is minus 19 by 3. So this means 6 point something, minus 6 point something, minus 6 whole 1 by 3, 3, 6, 18. But the question is not that. If you take a look at the question, this is not a regular maximum minimum question. We have to do some other comparison. It's 5 marks. We have gotten around, we got 1 mark for the derivative, that is m1. We got for writing this information maxima minima, what happens dv by dt equal to 0, there is 1 more mark, and we calculated the value of t, there is 1 more mark over here, and we found the value of v. That is, we got the marks, but the question is, they have also given a range of values of t, which is not, the interval is not given when you do a regular turning point maximum minimum question. We have to do some comparison over here. This is an irregular question. So we also have to compare between the interval t equal to 0 and t equals to 5. And we can take the help of the previous question. So when we talk about the interval, we know when t equals to 5, v equals to 15. And when we also know the value of t equal to 0, we can write, so t equal to 0, v equals to, if we put 0 over here, that will be 10. When t equals to 5, v equals to, we know that is 15. We found it from the previous question. So now we found one from the turning point, which is t equals to 7 by 3. The velocity is minus 6 point something, so the speed would be 6 point something. The value of t equal to 0 is v equals to 10, and this is v equal to 15. So if you compare all the values, so the maximum or the greatest speed is going to be 15 meter per second. Let me repeat, question number C does not deal with kinematics per se. Question number C deals with coordinate geometry about the turning point when we talk about maximum minima, but it is also another part where we just compare the values. What is the value when t equal to 0? What is the value when t equal to 5? It is not a regular question at all.